So I'm Safari K. That's what most people know me as. I've had that name ever since I started doing my business, since about 2005. And as you know, I take groups on safari to Tanzania mostly because that's where my business is. So just very briefly how I got into this. On the short side of it is that I lost my mom, I lost two of my brothers, and I was in a very bad accident that kept me off work for about a year. And all of this happened back to back. It happened so fast. I can't tell you what happened to me, but I know I was depressed for about 4 years. And I had to figure out how to live my life again because I just felt like I just lost everything. It was when I was on medical leave, I took a trip to Tanzania because I really wanted to get far away from home, just to not have to think about anything. And that trip is what saved my life, changed my life. The people there, you would have thought that they knew everything that was going on with me. Like, you know, I had told them a story about what happened in my life, but they didn't know anything about me. I didn't know them. It's just that they were very friendly, very warm, very welcoming, and that made me feel at home. And what I didn't know until I got back home was how much that changed my life and how much it helped me, because I did not think about everything that happened when I was there. It's only when I came back home that I realized how that trip impacted me. So I took some time off and I traveled around Africa for 2 years. I traveled to every safari destination there was, just so that I could figure out whether it was Tanzania or whether it was someplace else that I needed to be. How this impacted my life was at every place in Africa. After that trip to Tanzania, and then after my 2 years traveling around in Africa, I ended up right back in Tanzania. Because of all the 12 safari destinations that I went to, that one provided for me the best opportunity for wildlife, the friendliest people, the most cultural diverse country, and a land that was so plentiful that was just incredible. And for me, the emotion that it evoked, you know, I thought, this can't just be me that feels this way. I just knew that other people would feel that. So I have been taking groups on safari to Tanzania and parts of Africa since 2005, actually, but 2008 is when I started my business. That's a little bit how I got started. So it's a very personalized experience. In 2011, I bought a vehicle there. My partner in crime over there is our driver guide. He's a wildlife safari expert. And he and I decided that we were going to go into partnership. I met him through a camp that I used to book for several years, and I took my family there, I took other groups there, and he was just the kind of guy that to me epitomized the kind of driver guy that I wanted. He was outgoing, he knew everything, he could talk to people, he could tell them about the wildlife, he was very diplomatic, he could handle people. He was just the person that if I thought I was going to start my own business with my own vehicle, he would be the kind of person that I would want. So I am very pleased that here it is, 12 years later, he's still with me, he's still the driver, he's still exactly what I thought he was when I first met him. In fact, he's even better, so he, and now I have another driver as well. So for me, this experience is about how they make it, not just me. It's about how they make the experience. And we're just going to go around the room, and I'm going to just have everybody who traveled just share just a few minutes of what you thought the experience was and how it changed you, or if it did, just what you thought. Because I believe now, after all this time, that most people feel the same way that I felt that very first time that I went.
I don't come from a close family, so to me this was a fantastic experience that I bonded so much with these people that I didn't know prior to 2 weeks ago that I felt like I was leaving my family. So that is a pretty powerful experience. The second thing I like to tell everybody is that I absolutely felt no fear about anything from day one to the last minute of the whole trip. Even my husband and I travel a lot, but we've never been to Africa, and we both are adventurous type of people. But I have to say that Kay prepared us so well in advance that there was no surprises. She has every detail worked out to the nth degree, even to the point that, as you know, I'm gluten-free, and she ordered me a gluten-free pizza for tonight. At every place I was, that we stayed, every lodge, there was gluten-free items on the menu, which I did not expect, because most of the times when I travel in America, you can't always get gluten-free in restaurants and so forth. So that was a small detail, but still it was covered to the nth degree. The lodgings, I'd say, were outstanding. And in your mind you think, oh, am I going to be sleeping in a dirt, tent like a army man? But no, the lodgings were extremely luxurious, and you didn't have to use any outhouses like, if you're camping, at a national park or something like that. The food was what I would describe as continental. It's a little bit different than we have, but still there was always plenty of things that you could eat, more than enough that you could eat. But that aside, that was just a minor part of it. The major part of it was that I felt like we were in National Geographic. If you ever watched National Geographic or the Nature Channel, and you just see those animals traveling by, and it's like you were just transported from another planet into the animal planet. And the animals are just doing their own thing. They're mating, they're fighting, they're eating, they're just doing whatever they do in nature, completely oblivious to the people. That was so awesome. And as far as the guides go, like I say, besides bonding with them emotionally, but they could have been nice people and not told us anything. But I know you've probably all been on tours of whatever kind, where you ask the tour guide, whether it's a forest ranger or a docent or whatever, well, what about this and well, what about that? And they just have some kind of lame excuse that they don't know the story about that animal or that setting or that period or whatever. Well, I'll tell you, both of our guides, there was not one question that I asked, and I asked a lot because I'm a teacher, so I'm always learning and I'm always teaching. But there was not one thing that I asked that could stump them. It was just so phenomenal. And the other thing was when we went to the Maasai village, that was like an experience, like another planet within another planet, going back to a culture that's, I don't know, from the beginning of time. The closest thing I can describe to people is that if you could go back in the time machine to when the Native Americans, the first peoples of the North American continent lived, and they would be living in teepees and so forth, but yet they were so warm and welcoming and kind, you just felt like they were your neighbors. So, in so many ways, it was an experience like no other. So.
That's good. That's very good. Thank you. Here's an overview. Covered a lot of things.
I have always wanted to go to Africa, and Kay kept saying they're disappearing. What is the rate? One every 15 minutes?
An elephant every 15 minutes.
Is killed.
Every 12 hours.
And I thought, how can this keep up and this exist? I mean, it's going to just without any animals at the rate it was going. And so I decided now is the time. I'm not going to wait any longer. I had been trying to convince my husband to go, and he didn't want to. Not a problem. I told Kay I'm going, and I'll let you know if my husband is going too. So it was wise that I did that. I'm so happy I did. And you can't even believe that you're there. And one of my favorite pictures was a lady from the Maasai village. We were holding hands. Of course, we were dancing, doing all that, but there's a picture of me holding hands with her. And what's really neat is that how many thousand miles is it? Is it 8,000 from here? Tanzania from here.
Oh, it's about 10,000.
10,000 miles away. There's a lady who touched my heart. And we were holding hands. And I'm just so thrilled that we can touch people's lives like that. So getting into the, just the same thing that what Susie said, never a bit of fear. The food was very, very good, probably better than when we eat here. The places we stayed were amazing, truly amazing. It was gorgeous, and it was kind of intriguing because you couldn't walk anywhere at night without a guide because there were animals everywhere. So the very first day we went out, and we saw lion prints. I was looking at my pictures today. We saw lion prints, and I thought, oh, that's exciting, lion prints. And then we saw a lion feasting on whatever it was. It was a rib cage at that point. And we're going, oh my gosh. And I think it was about then that Kathy said, I think I'm getting excited. It was so amazing. So anyway, and then we go along another 100 feet. Well, there's a male and a female, and they were mating again and again and again. In 15 minutes, I thought, wow. So anyway, that was the first day. That was just, we were just so amazed. And then as you go along, you're taking pictures of every zebra and every giraffe and every Cape buffalo and everything. And the guides, we love them to death. Paul and Sam. Paul is the one that has worked with Kay the longest, and Sam. They were just wonderful. And what was neat is my husband was so sure he did not want to go on this trip, and he was just going to make everybody know it. Well, after Paul started calling him Brother John and told him to come and sit next to him, they were best buds. And it really worked out well. A friend of mine who had been to Kenya a few months before said that she left a piece of her heart in Africa. And I'll have to say, I left a piece of my heart in Africa as well. And we're Facebook friends with Paul and Sam and Emma. He was the photographer on that particular trip. And it's so neat that we're still touching each other's lives. So anyway, that was it.
I was when I signed up, but by the time so much time had elapsed, it was what possessed me to do this. And I had come to, Kay had a pre-trip meeting where she was going over all these things, and I just totally flipped out. It was like, I don't want to do this. But we got there, and as soon as we got into Tarrangere Park, we saw the lion paws print, and then we saw the lions. But when you looked out and you're like, oh my gosh, I am in the National Geographic. It was so touching. And the people were so kind. I've had so many people go, weren't you afraid? No, not in the least. It's probably the scariest place was Amsterdam. But the people were so kind, and the animals were just right there next to us. If you were silly enough to put your hand outside the window to touch the lion, then you might have had a problem, but they were right there. From me to Susie, there were lions walking along, and they weren't in the least bit fazed by us driving by. Walked a little further, and then there was this elephant who had the longest tusks you have seen. They almost touched the ground. And he was just on the side of the road, totally unfazed by our presence. But like they said, Paul and Sam were just fantastic. They're more than drivers. The way they can spot things, the way they related to us, they instantly became our friends. And it was hard leaving. It was very hard leaving. It's kind of amazing how you assimilate back into your everyday life once you get back, but you never lose lose the memories and what that brings to you. It's just, I can't, excuse me, I can't encourage you enough to sign up to go. And this is from a person who was like, I don't want to go. But it was just incredible. And Kay does a marvelous job. She takes care of you. She makes sure you know everything. But so many people are worried about their safety. There's not a thing to worry about your safety. You have more problems here than you do over there. And it's just a trip of a lifetime.
Craig, you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, so I've been to Africa 3 times now, and the first time I went, like most people, Africa was always like, oh, it'd be nice to go there, you know, just kind of saying it out loud, but not really meaning it, right? Obviously, Kay had been going for a while, and she's my cousin, so I know about the trips. She's been talking about it, and I was, that's okay, you know. It's pretty, you know, costly and stuff like that, but that's okay. So it turned out that one of the times I was over here, I was looking through her photo book. She has these really photo books that really translate the experience really well. I don't know what was about at that time, but I looked at the book and said, you know, she was also telling me similar to what somebody else said, that animals are disappearing. And you know, they might not be there. And at the time, they were talking about building a highway through the Serengeti, which is still trying to happen actually, but it's on the side for now. So I said, okay, well, if my sister goes, I'll go, because she had just come into some money, and I said, well, maybe I didn't expect her to say, sure, I'll go. I called her right then and there, and she said, sure, I will go. I was like shocked. I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to go now. So yeah, I did. I saved up for a year, and I went. We went for 16 days. We went to Kenya and Tanzania. And I can't tell you what a fantastic trip it was. It was funny because we get off the plane after the flight, which was not at all what I thought it was going to be. It was actually fairly easy for me. The 20-hour flight. It was an adventure. Got off the plane, and the very first thing you see when you get off the plane is Paul. Mm-hmm. And Paul is the most welcoming person you will ever meet. You feel like that I'm at home now. That's the way he made you feel the very first time I met him. So you get there, and like I said, Kenya was a different experience than Tanzania. It's a different country, different kind of culture, but I enjoyed the trip immensely. I went on a hot air balloon. I saw the animals from above, and we had a different experience there than Tanzania. We get to Tanzania, and Tanzania is beautiful. That was what I remember when I got off the plane. It was beautiful, beautiful country. So that's what I remember most about when I first got there. And then we went to go see Pete O'Neill, and that experience changed everything. I mean, it just ramped it up to a different level.
And hence the shirt. I made a difference.
Yeah. So this is one of the trips that she made a trip based on Pete's school. But when I was there, the first day, he was talking about their experiences and how he started the school, and all of the struggles that they've had over the years. And one of those was water. So they got water, and one of those was power. And he just kind of mentioned it offhand. So after I came back, I was just like everybody else who's been there, saying, you know, you leave a piece of yourself there, and you just, what can I do more to help? So I raised money to get them solar power. So now they have it. Kay, when we go to the school, everybody comes and brings things for the children and things like that. It's part of the experience. Those types of things, and she makes other kind of experience like the Maasai and other parts, she's always trying to think, what can I do more different that people are not expecting. So that was the first trip, and I said after 16 days, I'm not going back. That was when I said that before I went on the trip. You know, like, okay, I'm paying all this money, I'm going 16 days, there's no way I'm going back. Of course, when you're about to get back on the plane, I don't want to leave. So I said, I am going again. So 2 years later, I went again. I went back to Tanzania strictly that time, and I went on the Make a Difference trip. That was the first time she had done the Make a Difference, which is you go spend some time at the children's home for several days, and then you go on safari the remaining days. So you get a little bit of both. So at the school, the children were so welcoming. They didn't even know you. As soon as you drive up, they come running, they hug you. All of them. It's just a different type of experience. So I did that, and from that trip, I said, okay, I'm going to be doing Make a Difference as many times as I can. So I just came back again this past May. This last time, I just stayed at peace. I didn't even do the safari at that point. I was more interested in the children's home experience. I stayed there a week. By the time I left, I seriously did not want to go home. I mean, I was serious. I was not going to get on the plane. But I had to get back on the plane to go back to work. But that made me think about my life from that. And I'm actually moving to Africa in October. Based on that experience. I'm going to stay at the children's home for an indefinite amount of time. So that just kind of gives you a hint of how it changes. Kay mentioned it a little while ago, how everybody has, how you leave a little piece of yourself back there. I'm going to get it. So that's what I would say.
Going on what Craig was saying about visiting the children's home, that was also an amazing experience to me, because as I said, I was a teacher, and the fact that all those children that we didn't know from Adam came over and physically hugged us, welcomed us, they served us lunch, they were polite, they put on a little show with singing. I mean, everything was so appreciative. Everybody brought backpacks of gifts for them, but this was such an extremely different experience. The other thing that really touched me was when we were at the Maasai village, one of our traveling ladies left her camera in the village, and then we traveled on in our vans to the next destination, who knows, half an hour away or whatever, on muddy roads, which you'll see. And then she's thinking, oh God, what am I going to do? It's like day one of the trip and I have no camera. Okay, well then out of the blue, who comes down the road but the Maasai chief? We have no idea how he got there. They don't have any vehicles. It must have been just magic or something. But here he comes into the parking lot dangling a camera. And I said, oh my God. So that's what I'm saying, the depth of integrity and genuineness and safety of the people. You just never had a doubtful moment in 1 second. I mean, it's much more dangerous to travel in New York and LA. And I grew up on the East Coast, but I never felt anything negative in the whole trip, so just wanted to add that.
Yeah. I appreciate it. You guys can tell it better than I can, because, I'm the owner, so, you don't know whether I'm telling the truth or not, right? You're just saying, oh yeah, she's just saying that.
Well, it's like half safari. I went to South Africa. Now the Tanzania safari is really out of this world for me, because I've traveled to other countries, gone to Europe, gone to the beach area, but safari is really different for me. I remember when I first saw my first animal, I was just really excited. And it's not, hearing other people, when you say you go on a safari, you go on a safari to see animals, they automatically think, oh, the lions, aren't you scared? But going there, it's different. You're not even scared. The animals are actually, how can I say this? Or you just respect them. So it's natural. So I wasn't scared of seeing an animal. I was very excited. So my first animal, I can't remember which, was it a
Water buck?
water buck? Beautiful, beautiful animal. And I was just so excited, I screamed. And I wasn't supposed to, so. It's like, after that, it was just, everything else was amazing.
When you scream, you scared them away.
I
Right?
know, see, that's what it is. When
And
you
that was the only one we
scream,
saw.
it's supposed to be like, you have to be really, really quiet, really quiet. But everything, even though you see, you know, if you see it over and over again, the excitement does not disappear. It's like you're always getting excited. So it's really fun. Now, Tanzania is like the best for me because I have safari, I went on the safari in South Africa, but Tanzania, you can't really compare the two as far as countries when it comes to safari because Tanzania is just really open, vast, just really big. And so the animals are different. And then you see hundreds and hundreds of just wildebeest, hundreds of elephants. Whereas if you go to another country like South Africa, it's like in a small location and they're just really tiny. So that's the difference for me. And I was telling Kay when I went to South Africa, I need to see animals. Like I want to see a lot of animals, and you don't see that anywhere else. So, but I had fun. I would love to go back again, and every time I come here and I listen to Kay, and it's like it makes me want to go back. So,
Thank you. Charles?
There's no pressure, but I remember you saying, Charles, you gotta go to Africa, it's so neat.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, no, that's the last place I want to go. Never. Ken kept bugging me about going to Africa. And I'm thinking, there must be something to this, but she was so excited. And so finally, in I think 2008, she convinced me to go on safari. And it was so nice, not what I expected at all. And I'm really not into animals. I like dogs and cats, but the big animals, no big deal. But it's really exciting to see these animals in their natural habitat. It's not scary. I hear a lot of people say, I don't want to go to Africa, or I don't want to, be around these big animals because I don't know, they're afraid. But actually, when you're out there with them, it's not scary at all. As a matter of fact, they might even come up to your tent when you're sleeping. But they don't bother you. They don't do anything. As long as you're not doing something with them.
Inside your tent.
Yeah, outside the tent. Okay, whatever. But it's just a really neat experience. The people there are really nice. It's nice being out there in the country with the animals, and it's like where we stay, like one of the camps we stayed at, they move around on Serengeti, and they have everything with them, electricity and all. It's kind of like some of these tents are like a luxury tent, but they're out there in the boonies with the animals, and it's really neat. And sometimes at nighttime you can hear the animals, you can hear whatever, I don't know, kind of like hyenas, you can hear hyenas making noises. And sometimes you see animals at nighttime. Sometimes you see the eyes of animals, they might be pretty far away. Like a cat, but you see the eyes are far away.
The yellow parts, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so nice. You see all the big animals like elephants and cheetahs and those kind of animals there, but they don't bother you. In fact, it's kind of neat. We've had a couple of drivers, I've gone twice.
Oh, wow.
We've had a couple of drivers that just go out of the way because somehow, because they live there and they've done this so many times, they know what these animals are. And we've gone out of our way and we track a cheetah, and we watch lions, and we go right up to them. I mean, really close. Where let's say where Craig is, up in a tree, you see a lion, and we're like this far away, but we're in a Jeep, or we're in a vehicle. And it's so neat. You can watch them, and they don't pay any attention to you, as long as you're not doing anything. And the same with elephants. You might be 10 or 15 feet away from the elephants, and you know how big they are if they want to do something. It'd be too bad. Too bad for you if you're in the way. But they don't bother you. No, it's just a really relaxing, adventurous kind of vacation. And I would advise anybody to go. It's like a one in a lifetime experience. Even though I've gone twice and cavemen forever, 50 times, more than 50 times I think. It's just a different kind of atmosphere, different kind of vacation, and everybody's so nice. And you know, you're in another country, and like me, I'm not adventurous when it comes to food. A lot of people eat all kinds of food. I don't. But you tell them what kind of food you want, and they cook it just like here. No big deal. And that's really surprising because it's just so many kinds of food I don't like. Like when I went to the Philippines, 90% of the food I didn't like. But in Africa, you just tell them, you know, what you want, and they'll cook it for you, and they cook it really good. It's just like being here. So it's a real experience, and I would, if you're thinking about going, I would say don't miss it. It's a good, very good adventure, and it's a once in a lifetime kind of trip.
Well,
It's really neat.
we're already booked and we're going.
Oh,
No matter what, we're going.
I feel like I accomplished my purpose when I got my brother to go. Because he doesn't do anything.
Wow,
He doesn't
good for
go
you.
anywhere. You know, I could talk to him till I'm blue in the face, you know. But boy, first time he went, he was a different person.
See, you need to talk to my kids. They don't want to go anywhere. Her kids go everywhere. You know,
My kids have gone with her, but it's her kids want to
I've
go.
taken them to Europe because they didn't want to go.
He was
Oh,
a different
gosh.
person. He became so outgoing. He was top, you know, right? We were wondering, is that my brother? He's like talking to everybody, shaking hands, finding out what their African name is. If somebody said my name is John, he said, no, that's not your name. What's your real name? You know, I mean, he was just all over the place. But Africa will do that to you because the people draw you in. They draw you in. They suck you into their world, you know, and you become at one with them. And honestly, it's just such an incredible feeling. That's why he went twice. So once in a lifetime kind of trip, twice in a lifetime, 50 times in a lifetime.